Hey, what's up? And thank you so much for clicking. So I tried to make this video and just jam it packed with as much new and relevant content as I possibly could. So with that being said, it really doesn't make sense to have some long, boring intro that just delays you from the real reason that you're here. I will say, if you do like this video, please subscribe to the channel and like it below. But let's jump right in. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about today, it's kind of a piece of advice. It's more like a mindset. And then if you are really going to do this, you really have to just take on this mindset that you're going to become a content producer. It's very natural, it's very easy. I think it's what most people do. They are content consumers. There's a million different avenues, Netflix and all these different things. We're constantly consuming content. And the only reason I mention this, and I'm really not trying to be very preachy or tell you what to do, but writing these articles and creating this website is very, very time consuming. It's just the reality of the beast. If you're going to create 2,000, 5,000 word articles, it just is what it is. So that's really the biggest piece of advice. It's also the biggest thing that I've struggled with as somebody that likes to consume all that content, is just shifting that mindset. I need to be a producer. So when I'm looking for things online or when I'm watching things, I'm always trying to think about how I can turn this into a piece of content. All right, so now that we got this producer mindset, what is it that we're going to be producing? I think it's very important to spend that initial time developing that website. 95% of your time should go to creating the content, writing the articles, posting the blog posts. I know a mistake that I made early on was wanting to get famous for my blog before actually putting in the work of putting up the articles. It doesn't really work that way, especially when you have nothing on your website. So 95% of your time creating very specific niche articles. And what I mean by that is my website, achainofblocks.com, focuses on different distributed ledger, decentralized protocols. And that was not niche enough, guys. If I were to do it over again, I might focus specifically on proof of stake protocols or proof of work protocols. And the reason for this is just the way the Google algorithm works. And if you're not ranking on Google for specific keywords, no one is on your website. No matter how much social media you do, that all dies down. What doesn't die down is Google search. So what you have to do is get somebody on your website, retain them onto your website because you've written a good article. Another thing is they have to interact with your website. So if they come to your website and read it and leave because you don't have another article that they want to read, it's not going to help you with Google search. If they come to your website and you have it nicely laid out with a table of contents that's clickable, they click a couple of those links that drags them down to the specific spot in the page, and then they get to the bottom of that article, and then you see another article that's connected to that article, and they want to read that. Google's like, wow, this person had an amazing experience on this website, and now I want to bump them up in the ranking. So how you do that, how the niche part works into that, guys, is you have to have articles that relate to each other. So on my website, and go to there, achainofblocks.com, there's going to be articles about Bitcoin. There's going to be articles about Ethereum. There's going to be an article about Augur. There's going to be all these different articles. And I put in a ton of time on these articles, and individually standing, each one of them I get very good feedback on. But no one really comes to the website and reads the Augur article and says, oh, and now I want to learn about the interplanetary file system. They're both distributed ledger protocols. They're both decentralized protocols. But this is what I mean, guys. You have to be niche about it because you're going to be attracting people and they may not have the broad knowledge or wherewithal that you do. So they're coming for a specific reason. Give them that reason. So one of the questions I always had when I was first starting off was, how many articles is enough articles to get started? I still have that question. I don't actually have a good answer. I have a kind of a good answer, and I think it really depends. And that's not the answer, but it kind of depends on how niche, again, we're going back to the niche, how niche your website is, right? So if you have something super specific, like let's say for me, I talk about cryptocurrency. If I took one specific cryptocurrency and I only talked about that, I think a good number would be between like 40 and 50 articles. Because that gives again, you never know why someone's coming to your website, and you have to appear to be the SME, the subject matter expert for that entire website. So if somebody comes to your website, they find something wrong, they leave your website because you're not credible. So you have to just know everything about it. So I think 40 to 50 sounds like a pretty good number for a super niche website. And again, the less niche it is, the more articles you have to have. Again, because you need that interaction with your website, you need somebody to go to multiple articles. That's how Google will promote you. We all want to get promoted, and these are the chores that you need to get promoted with Google. Interaction with your website and people staying on there for a decent amount of time. So it's not just a bot coming through, it's an actual person with a real interaction, and that's what you're going for. Let's switch gears real quick and let's talk about actually building your website. What are the tools? What should you use? One of the biggest mistakes that I made early on, I used Wix.com to build my website. And this is not a bash Wix a video at all. You can definitely build a successful blog using Wix. But for me, I shifted to WordPress. And a big part of that was just kind of the flexibility that WordPress allows you. And again, I'm not like a coder or anything, but WordPress has a lot of good plugins that I think enhance your website, and also kind of leads me into my next point, which is choosing a nice theme, a custom theme, but a nice theme, because this is the appearance of your website. So the theme may cost you a few dollars. I think my theme for my website costs $49 or $59. But again, this is something that you probably want to invest in, because when somebody comes to your website, especially if it's a cryptocurrency or if it's anything about finance, you're going to want something that's professional looking. And a lot of these themes are cool because they come with some plugins that are native to that theme that just enhance the website. And not that Wix doesn't do this in some fashion, but I just felt a lot more flexibility when I switched to WordPress. Again, like I said previously, it's all about content. Google doesn't know if you have a Wix or a WordPress. They know, but they don't promote you based on whether you have a Wix or a WordPress site. But just for me, I noticed a lot more flexibility, a lot more customization, and a lot better appearance of my website when I switched to WordPress. So again, not solicited, not promoting WordPress. I don't think you even can. All right, let's keep it moving here, and let's talk about the actual content that you're going to be creating for your website. So obviously you're not going to just copy different content from other websites posted on your own website. Obviously that goes without saying. I think it's okay. Obviously you're going to have to do a lot of research if you want to create these different articles and articulate your ideas. You're going to have to do some reading. I like to watch videos and learn that way. But whatever way you like to learn, you're going to have to do some research. But don't just take, like 3 different articles and kind of regurgitate the information into one new article. What I like to do, I'll come up with maybe a subject or a title for the article that I want to write, and then I just start learning about it and just consuming a bunch of different content with the idea of producing an article. And as I'm kind of reading and learning different things, I like to write down the different questions that I personally have. And then I make sure in my article that I make sure to answer those questions and obviously others as well. And the way I like to do that, guys, is, if you're writing about something that's a little bit complex, like I think, distributed ledger protocols, I think some people might think that's difficult. I won't understand that. But I like to, take these concepts and either turn them into different analogies that are usually more simple to digest, or just kind of like really simple pictures. I like to use different cartoon characters and just really simplify it, guys. I think that's kind of what engages people that have kind of an interest, and you get not only like the hardcore person in your field, but also kind of that crossover person that's kind of interested, but like kind of maybe is a little bit nervous because they don't know all the terminology. Kind of breaking that down and simplifying that, I think that's the best way to create content. So as you're reading and you're consuming, you're not copying, you're not regurgitating, but you are, it's fine to add on to what you've learned, put a new spin or a new twist on it. And that's just a couple of ideas of how I do that. So as I mentioned before, 95% of your time should be going to actual content creation. So you might be wondering, where does the other 5% go? I think you should start to create different social media accounts and also spend a small amount of time on different website optimizations that may improve the speed, performance, and user experience of your website. Social media accounts, obviously there's a lot of different choices and avenues to go with, and it kind of depends on the niche of your website. So for cryptocurrency and what I did, I used Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, Quora, Telegram, Medium, and LinkedIn. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, I think all kind of work the same way. You basically create an article and you post a link to that article in some form or fashion on those different outlets. Telegram is the same way as well. So with Medium, you can actually post your entire article onto Medium. So Medium is a really, really large blogging network that has tons of users that just come to Medium and want to consume content. So you can actually post a link. It's going to take your entire article and post it to their site with all your pictures and everything. It's going to look just like your post, and it doesn't count as duplicate content. It actually helps promote your site a little bit. So as people are searching through Medium, and Medium also ranks very well with Google, so if people are searching through Google, you might get promoted that way. So Reddit is basically a bunch of different channels. So you're going to want to find the appropriate channel for your content, for your topic, and then you can post your articles in there. They have a lot of rules against anti-spamming, so if you're a new customer or a new user on Reddit, you may be a little bit limited as to what you can post initially, but once you can post with caution, abide by the channel rules, or you will get banned from those said channels. But if you are able to post on Reddit and people do like your content, that can drive quite a bit of traffic to your website. So those are the few of the socials that I got involved with. Again, that's a lot, and that's a lot to do, so you're not going to do that all in one sitting. Those are set up over the course of a period of time. The other thing I mentioned is just optimizing your website. Again, don't spend a whole lot of time on this, guys, because it's way more important to just have good articles. Like someone, if your website's loading in 5 seconds rather than 3 seconds, if the article's really good, someone's going to wait the extra 2 seconds. And just trust me on that, I would. So again, that's not super important, but you want to spend a little bit of time, and I will make additional videos on maybe my back end in WordPress, so you can see what plugins that I'm using for optimization. Those things are nice, do make for a better mobile experience as well as a better just desktop experience. You just want everything to be smooth and load fast. You want to choose a good hosting provider that you can trust, that has a good uptime and a good speed, that's going to allow your users to browse through your article, get to the end, click on another one, and not have a long time to get to that next article. These last three things, they kind of go together, so we'll group them all together here. So first, when you're first starting off, I know you want to, create an income stream from this project and monetize it, but my recommendation would be don't sell anything, don't monetize in the beginning. I kind of go with the Costco approach, which is give that free sample, get them hooked. If you are producing good content, people will come back. They want more. Trust me, there's, as much content as there is, there's a greater thirst for it, and people always want new and more and better. So just keep the focus on creating the good content, and the rest should fall into place. But along with that, create an email list. So as people are coming to your website, give them the opportunity, however fashion you want to, creative way you want to try to collect that email list, but just collect an email list, because it is, you don't have to sell them anything, but when you put out a new article, you can send out that email, hey, I put out a new article, you may want to read it. Also, the other thing that I didn't think would work, but actually works pretty well, is the notification application. Guys, I've never clicked this. I've never clicked to allow this on any website, even ones that I like. But I installed it on my website, and people do it. They want the notifications. And I don't do a lot of notifications, but you can set that program automatically so that when you post a new post or a new article, it just notifies people that are subscribed to that, and it's the easiest thing. But it drives a little bit of traffic to your website. I find that email lists and notifications are pretty good. Again, not selling anything, but just hey, this is the content that you guys signed up for. Here, I'm just going to tell you when it's available, type of thing. That's all I got for you today. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. If you liked the video, please subscribe or like. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.